Welcome to the Chapter 1 podcast, your inside look at the people powering Charlotte's business scene. Real stories, real entrepreneurs right here in the Queen City. Today we have Trace Weidner on with Above All Media. Trace, we're really glad you're able to join us, and let's start at Chapter 1. Tell us how you ended up here in Charlotte in the Queen City.
Yeah, so I was living in Ohio and kind of just looking for a change. My partner at the time, who I have a daughter with, had some opportunities after graduating as a nurse practitioner to come to North Carolina. And I thought that would be an awesome opportunity to kind of have a change in life and just grow potentially. I knew there was probably more opportunity here in the Charlotte area. So I knew that maybe I could take the talents that I had somewhere else and maybe find something that, was really meant for me, because at that time I had had a lot of success in sales through various different types of careers in that industry. And I just knew I had something more to give. So I saw it as an opportunity to get out there and be seen by more people, meet more people, and just also experience a new place that had more to offer as far as things to do, nature, and just life in general.
So tell me a little bit about Ohio. I'm from Miami, so it's like the opposite direction. Like I come here and I'm like, it's way too cold. So I have friends in Ohio. I know how that can get. Are there parts you miss about Ohio? What was life like when you were in Ohio?
What I miss in Ohio is just being around my family. My parents are still there, so I definitely miss them. My brother lives in Cincinnati, and so I miss him as well. My sister is actually down in Florida now because her husband was a baseball, national champion at the University of Miami, but now he's a coach. So they're down there. He's coaching. I can't honestly remember the name of the college at this moment. But
That's okay. There's a lot of them.
That's what I miss about Ohio. I do think Ohio gets a bad rap from a lot of people as far as people making jokes about it and whatnot, because it was a great state as far as living there. I didn't have any complaints about it. Like I said, North Carolina has more nature, like beaches and mountains and things like that to do. But as far as the state, there were great things about it. And I definitely miss some of the small local towns that I grew up in and just that small town feel.
Is there like a food of Ohio? So like here, the big thing, I guess, is barbecue. I'm not from here, like I said. In Miami, it's pretty much like little Cuba. I mean, it's all the Latin, the Cuban food. I mean, Miami's great for any kind of food. Is there like a specific kind of cuisine that Ohio's known for?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
Yeah.
There's not like a little place that you miss going to, or is it like mostly home-cooked meals?
I mean, there's definitely places I miss. That's one of my favorite things to do when I go back there, actually, is head to all of the places that I can't go to here. And one of those places is a pizza place. And, Ohio's definitely not known for pizza.
Sure.
But I've never had a pizza that touches that pizza. It's so different from what people get on and review when they do the pizza reviews. Obviously, it's always like New York style pizza.
Sure.
And you got these other styles of pizza, but this pizza is like its own thing. And it has like 3 different places, so it's just a small local chain. But I just tell you, that's like one of the first places I go. And then I always go get these bourbon chocolate-covered cherries from a local coffee and chocolate shop. Just hitting up my local spots for sure. But I wouldn't say that there's just this specific like
Ohio
kind of
thing.
food, like a Philly steak or New York pizza or anything like that.
So tell me about professional life, like kind of where it started. I don't know if this was, you mentioned doing a bunch of different things, so I don't know if this was your first endeavor. It sounds like it wasn't. But where was the first jumping off point for you when you became a professional, and how different did it look from what you're doing now?
I mean, when I literally started my working career, I worked at a factory, a paint factory.
No.
That did like liquid coating for government. Like we literally painted Hummers. And then we had powder coating contracts. And I was a supervisor there. I hated every minute of it, though. Just repetitive, same thing every single day. And you're breathing in paint fumes. It was awful. So after that, actually through a layoff, because they had lost some of the government contracts, I was forced to kind of look into what I was going to do next. And ever since that point, I've always been in a sales role of some sort. Various ones. Schwann's home delivery was really popular in Ohio. So I had a very successful sales career with them. And I just had a lot of different sales jobs. And I always realized that I just had this way of making people feel like their voice was heard in sales instead of being one of those high pressure salesmen. I never really listened to, what came down from corporate as far as advice on how to sell people. I just did it my own way, and I was the top salesperson everywhere that I worked. And so I feel like throughout those various sales roles where, I never was there past 1, 2, 3 years because I never felt like what I had given them, I was getting much back in return. I didn't have the opportunity to grow. They would have the outside hires that they would, promote people from outside instead of from within. And so you just get to that point where you're like, okay, well, is this really going to serve me for a lifetime?
Right.
And the answer was always no. So I just kind of bounced around, to be honest, and just kept succeeding in that sales atmosphere. But I think all of that, which there's a story that leads up to, above all media, but all of that kind of transitioned into me finding here in Charlotte what it is that I was meant to do. And I definitely feel that that's where I am right now.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that story, that journey from you get into the world of sales and then eventually get around to starting your own thing in Above All Media. What does that journey kind of look like for you? What steps do you take there?
Yeah, well, for me, I was just at the time working another sales role. I was brought on as a salesperson and also kind of like a business development person because the company that I was with at that time had never really had sales. They'd never had anyone in charge of like developing the business, creating relationships. And so I kind of got to come on there and had free reign of how to do that and teach them a little bit on how to do that. They were a young company, not even a year old at the point. They were paying for, a lot of kind of junky lead systems that you can get out there that give you really low quality leads and also get sent to other people. So they just didn't have a lot of success with those things. And I was able to come in and I was allowed to remove all of the marketing that they were doing and just start at square one. And I asked, can I market you organically myself on social media? Let's just start there. So they gave me the keys to do that. And through doing that, it was like December of 2023 at that time. And in the first quarter of 2024, we more than tripled their revenue versus the prior year just through organic social media marketing. And then the second quarter, we quadrupled it. And we had hit their goal for the year within 6 months. And so what had happened was I was in networking groups at the time, and people kind of caught wind of what I had been doing at this company. And I started getting a lot of questions like, can you do this for me? And I just kind of brushed it off at first because I was comfortable where I was.
Sure.
I never really thought about doing something like this as a business because I'm not classically trained in it. I didn't go to school for it, which I will say I actually think that's a good thing. But one phone call made the difference, and that was from a digital marketing company, which is who I'm now affiliated with, where I have, my social media thing, and then they have the digital marketing side, and we just work together and kind of partner with each other. But that's kind of how it all came to be. We quadrupled the company's revenue through organic social media marketing.
Wow.
And I was at the helm of that, and I developed the strategy, and now I turn that strategy into a business because it was just highly requested. And I thought that it was going to be something that was going to take 6 months to a year to take off, and I was able to quit that full-time job within less than a month.
Wow. Well, I definitely want to talk about how your current situation works with your partnership, I guess, that you got going on. But I had a question before that. When you told them that you wanted to kind of take on the marketing, where did that confidence come from? Had you done anything like this before? Were you just really familiar with Facebook and you were like, hey, I think I could market this? Like, what was that situation like? Why did you say that?
For sure. One, it was just the sales confidence and my ability to talk with people that gave me quite a bit of confidence. But the other thing is I didn't have social media for a long time. I had done away with it, and from a personal standpoint was not using it. But I had become a real estate agent back in 2022 and obviously got back on social media, tapped into that realm to market myself. And, it was mentioned that I used to be a singer. I was in a band for 10 years, and so I was a lead singer of a band. We had a lot of fun times during that era in Ohio. So that's one thing I do miss from Ohio as well. But I tapped into a creative way of marketing myself as a real estate agent. And so I was called the singing realtor. And while I would
Nice.
also have real estate marketing posts that I would make, I also would post singing videos on that. So just a way, because it's a saturated industry,
Distinguish yourself.
to
Yeah.
distinguish myself. And so it kind of started there. You know, I had the confidence that I was able to be creative and be different, which I always knew no matter what I was doing, that was always my goal, is to be different
Yeah.
than everybody else, because that's how you stand out and succeed at a higher level. So it was a combination of just my sales acumen and
Yeah.
then my ability to stand out as I started to get back on social media.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about this partnership that you have going right now. So Above All Media, is that you? Are you partnering with them? Like how does this situation that you're currently in work?
Yeah, it's always a fun thing to explain. I don't even know that I necessarily know how to explain it yet at this point. We
Perfect.
basically just, that phone call that he made to me was just him telling me, look, we've been doing digital marketing like SEO, Google Ads, website development, but we've never had social media because I never believe that I've met anyone that actually does it the way that it should be done until you. And so that's when he was like, I want you to partner with us and turn this into an actual business. So essentially, Above All Media already existed. I've just come on and I have a social media division within that company. So what we're able to do is a lot of the clients that already had hired them for all those other services also wanted social media, and immediately they became my clients. And vice versa, some people that come on through the avenue of myself can then utilize them when needed. So we just work together as one company now and facilitate all of those things and offer a full digital marketing suite.
Awesome. So in your time, how long have you been in this situation? Like how long have you owned the company?
It has been about a year and a half.
Okay. So in that time, what are some of the hurdles that are maybe different than things you've faced before that have happened over the last year and a half or so that you've kind of had to overcome?
I think just, having the control of managing someone's livelihood, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's a little different than selling for a corporation. I haven't faced a lot of hurdles, but just adjusting to that frame of mind is definitely different, because these people have to put food on their table and they're utilizing you as a source to put that food on the table. And so if we let them down, it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, at least from my standpoint, I really truly care about our clients very, very much, and I have a huge passion for it. And that's what drives the fact that I feel I want to do this forever. But that's been the biggest difference, is just realizing every day that I go into just thinking about those people and that I need to follow through with everything that I'm supposed to do day in and day out so that they can grow.
Yeah.
That they're relying on me for that. And that's what I think really sets us apart, is we don't look at them as a number. We look at them as human beings.
Right. This is always a fun question to ask somebody that does marketing is, what does your personal marketing look like? Like when you guys look to market yourself, like how do you obtain clients? Like where do you find them? Where are they finding you?
100%. So it's funny actually, because there was no self-marketing at all for about a year and 2 or 3 months. It was all based on networking, just
It's a form of marketing.
business.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, networking is great for someone who works with business owners, because that's who you meet and that's who needs you.
Yep.
So it just kind of naturally happens. It's not a hard place to get referrals for a company like this. So for self-sustainment, all I needed was networking. But I reached the point where it was like, okay, I'm close to being maxed out as an individual. So now I've hired 2 other people that are basically just extensions of myself doing the same thing. And in that moment, realize it's time to self-market. And how do I do that? The same exact way that I do it for our clients. So I have gotten, in the last month, because I really turned it on September 1st, and it's October right now, I think October 7th. In the last month, I've gotten more clients through self-marketing on social media than I think I did the entire year and 2 or 3 months of networking. So networking is awesome. It's great for sustaining an individual. But when you're thinking about adding other people and growing as a company, digital marketing from any standpoint But I believe personally, because that's what I work on in social media, is just massive. There's so much potential there.
So what kind of businesses and business owners or clients do you have? I mean, I'm sure there are certain industries that it doesn't work great to be marketing on Facebook and things like that. But what have you noticed has been the main kind of your main clientele?
So home services get the most value from what we do on social media, because when it comes to social media, there's a demand level, and we decide that demand level by what we see people going on in the local community and asking for services. So we have known, or we have gathered over the last year, who gets asked for the most. So when we're having these conversations with client prospects, we're able to say, look, you have an extreme demand on social media. We're going to blow your mind when it comes to bringing you leads and new business. Whereas some conversations we have, and that's one thing I love about us, we're honest and transparent. We don't sign contracts. It's month to month. And we just tell people, look, this is what's going to happen. If we feel 100% confident that we're going to blow your business up, we'll tell you that. If it's middle of the road, we'll tell you that. Sometimes we talk to people and we're like, look, no one ever asks for your service on social media.
Right.
So if you would like to work with us, just understand that we don't even know if this is going to work for your business. That's how honest and transparent we are. And some people will make the decision at that time that maybe it's not the right fit. And some people say, well, I really like what you guys are doing, so I'd like to at least give it a shot. But I want people to know how we feel about it so that they're comfortable with the decision that they make. But typically, home services get the most value out of what we're doing. Or anybody who just services an individual. I will say the service that we provide probably provides the least value to B2B.
Yeah.
Because it's just not what people go to social media for.
Right.
It's B2C on social media, whereas B2B is kind of just a different realm. People will tap into the Google searches or the LinkedIn, which is not really something we tap too heavily into on social media.
Yeah, we found that out in doing some Facebook marketing, some other things, just that's typically not where people are strolling around. Businesses aren't strolling around to be like, we need a video production company. Let's go to Facebook. Although it's yielded some small stuff here and there. So tell me a little bit about your process. When that person does come across you and is like, hey, I'm curious about this. I'd like to find out more. I want to actually move forward with your services. What does that look like from them being interested to like the actual product that you provide? Like, are you like are you the one that's actually closing deals? Are you just kind of getting them connections and then saying, hey, they might contact you through this ad? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so that's the big difference. Obviously, the way this company kind of came to be was I was working at a place implementing this strategy, but also the closer behind the deals. So I always, in the first conversation with any client prospect, let them know, look, I can bring you the leads, I can expose your business, level you up, but if you don't have what it takes in place to close deals, that's where I can't help you. That's where it draws the line, because I'm not working for you as an employee like I was for this company that we had so much success with. And so that's always just an honest conversation with them. But our goal on social media is much different than just posts on a page. We don't just manage social media accounts. We do that part, but we go beyond the business page, because what we find is followers don't equate to closed business. And so you may have 10,000 followers on your page, probably not as a local business, but even if you did, that's not going to get you actual business if it's the only place that you're spending time in. So we've realized that through engaging storytelling within the local community, people tend to think that if you're just posting about yourself, you're not going to sell anything, but social media is a different space. Over here on the digital marketing side of SEO and Google Ads, you are a billboard, just like you would see on the highway. But on social media, people don't want that. They don't want you to just pop in the local community and just throw up a generic ad post.
Right.
It's not what they're looking for, and actually makes them mad sometimes. So when you can go in there and actually just sell the people behind the business, that's what social media wants. And that's really what we specialize in, so that you're going to get that phone call based on the fact that they felt so inspired that they wanted to support your business. And so that's what we work really hard to drive, is engaging storytelling, and then also recommending our clients at every opportunity possible. And we do that from a personal standpoint. We don't try to go in and sell them as the business, because again, that can turn people off. they don't want to hear on social media from the business. They would like to hear from someone who recommends that business. So that's kind of how our strategy is designed, so that they can get that phone call. But once they get that phone call or that text or email, we give pretty much every option of contact possible. But once they get it, it's up to them to close the deal.
Mhm. So this process, I mean, obviously you've owned and done what you're doing now for the last year and a half, but you've been doing kind of stuff in this realm for a long time. What would you say you love most about the process of the things that you get to do now?
What I love most is definitely the storytelling, and that's for two reasons. One, it's just fun to put people's stories out there, because a lot of the people that we work with have great stories to tell. And it's fun to be able to give them that recognition that they don't want to go on and give themselves, because it feels like bragging at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to do that. Sometimes we don't even utilize their business page. It may be me going in there and telling that story, because if we do it from the business page, it may sound like they're bragging about, how they came to be or some other things
Right.
that they're doing in the community. So I tell that story for them and make that difference within their business that they weren't able to make without a company like ours. So being able to share what's amazing about these people
Mm-hmm.
and also have it put food on their table is just awesome. But also, again, the storytelling we're realizing is the most valuable part of our service. We thought it was going in and making all these recommendations when people say like, hey, I need a roofer, or hey, I need a painter. We thought that was the most valuable part. And for a while it was, until we tapped more into this storytelling and realized, wow, we're getting more leads from a storytelling post circulating through the local community than we ever are from these recommendations. So we still do the recommendation part, but we're like going hard on storytelling now, because if you tell the right story, it just keeps going and going and going. It can last for weeks. So that's what I really love doing, because it's just awesome telling people stories, and in the same process, we're leveling up their business like at a crazy rate. People are blown away.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Preaching to the choir, man. Chapter 1 Films. It's the name of my company, and we are all about storytelling in video form. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So if you were talking to somebody who was wanting to start their own thing or move in a similar direction that you've moved, what's a piece of advice that you would give them in taking that step?
So for me, it happened through networking. So that's my advice. I believe that networking is vital for anyone.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily just business owners, but if you're someone who just
Sure.
works at a company like I used to, and you just want to meet more people and be opened up to more opportunities. Because when I got involved with networking, it was actually forced upon me from a company that I was working at. Never really was my thing. I can stand up on stage and sing in front of 10,000 people if you ask me to, but I do not like to go into a room and just mingle with people.
Yeah.
I will wait on them to come to me all day long. I'm not going to initiate that conversation. And so I was forced into a networking situation, but it literally led to me finding what was meant for me that I had searched for so long. So honestly, that's the advice I have to give, because that's what changed my life. And when I tell you it changed my life, like, just in so many ways,
Yeah.
my life has improved, and I take it all back to networking. It gets all the credit. I wouldn't have anything that I have today if it wasn't for networking.
We have a pretty similar story in the sense that when I started off, I moved here 7 years ago, started the company when I moved here, so I didn't know anybody. And I was like, I just have to network all the time. And now, similar, I'm an outgoing guy, never had stage fright, although I wasn't talented, so I didn't sing or anything. But I wasn't afraid of that. But it's when you get into that room and you go, oh, this just feels so authentic. Like I might have to walk up to people and talk about it. And there was so much hesitancy. But I think something that I learned when I started networking was that everybody is kind of in that environment, and that made me feel so much better. Is that I got there, I'm like, I think everybody here is kind of feeling the same way. So it gave me a little more peace as to going up and talking to people, starting those conversations, and in the same way it affected you. That's how I got my start with everything. I mean, I owe all the big connections I have to networking in those early days. So I'm a proponent, man.
Absolutely.
Well, Trace, thank you so much for being on the show. We're really excited to have you on. We were just really thankful that you gave us some time. Trace, how can people find you? How can people get in contact with you?
Mostly on social media. I mean, that's where I spend my time. Honestly, I might respond to Facebook Messenger before a text message. I don't know if you guys, when this gets posted, are going to put contact information. But yeah, I mean, Trace Weidner, Weidner. You can look me up on Facebook, and that's where I spend most of my time. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm Greg Prinz, host of the Chapter 1 podcast. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook. And until next time, it's the Chapter 1 podcast.